Let's talk about leash reactivity. It's one of the #1 behavioral problems that I deal with on a daily basis. And it is something that, for the most part, can be fixed. And it can be a hard road, and it needs to be a patient road. One of the biggest reasons why we have leash reactivity is, one, something has happened traumatically to the dog while they were on leash, whether it was attacked by another dog, or something that they've been pinned or scared or held back, something bad's happened on leash, or the lack of exposure to distractions and people. And since COVID, and I hate to bring up COVID, but we were also isolated, that even when I was working dogs for the many doctors and nurses that were out there working through COVID, I would go and get their dogs and take them out for them. And there was nobody on the streets. There was nothing going on. And we saw a few dogs and we saw a few people. And so the exposure was so minimal that it almost shocked them when they saw somebody. So exposure and lack of exposure, and then something terrible happening on leash. And so it's a process of space. It's a process, darn flies. It's a process of being patient, but it is also being willing to put some corrective tools on your dog, such as a prong collar or a shock collar, depending upon the situation. And I would not just go out and tell you, throw a shock collar on your dog, it'll fix it. I would not tell you to go throw a prong collar on your dog, it'll fix it. Contact me, I can talk you through it, help you understand if it's the right tool for you. Sometimes the easy walk or no pull harnesses are better. Sometimes the head collars are better for leash reactivity. Food is something that I have to be very careful with, and I wish other trainers would be as well, because if we're rewarding the thought or the nerves and the stress of the dog, we're continuing to reward reactivity. And it gets so ingrained in them that they get stressed and nervous and they think they need to eat. And so anytime that there's something happening, then if there's no food involved, then they just react. The reaction in leash reactivity is a secondary thought to the nerves and the stress that's going on with your dog. Now, I find that leash reactivity is very, very, very specific to every dog and every household and every community that they're in. And I can tell you that if you go do my obedience training videos and you do my off-leash adventure recall and my how not to call your dog and my house manners videos, you're laying a foundation that will help you with the tools that you need to fix the leash reactivity. But there is not any way for me to tell you, do X, Y, and Z, and this is going to fix your dog in leash reactivity. I can tell you that you should create a space that is safe for your dog to learn in, that there's the distractions of a dog at a distance, that your dog can take food kindly, no stress, and can work on obedience and train. You will gradually work closer to what those things that trigger the reactivity. Sometimes, I've had some dogs that are reacting to garbage trucks. They're loud, they're big, they're banging, there's all this stuff happening on. And then there's the reactivity of dogs or reactivity of certain dogs. So what I recommend here is to make sure that you have a great foundation with your dog without distractions, and then add in distance distraction and work your dog until you can gradually get closer. The other piece to this is I highly recommend walking your dog or working your dog on a 10-foot leash, dragging. There's so much more to this that I would recommend honestly doing my adventure recall course, because it really talks about what wandering is and how to use a 10-foot leash, how to get your dog connected to you. So then the leash doesn't become the thing. Your dog learns to connect with you. 99% of dogs with leash reactivity are actually very social off leash and can manage themselves very well. They just don't do well on a short leash. So there's so many elements and pieces to leash reactivity. Go over to my adventure recall. course, and I want you to go through that. But also, if you feel like you need help, then reach out to me at Joe, at dogtraining360.com. Let's set up a Zoom call. Let's do some virtual lessons, and let me help you get the right course and the right program and the right things for you. And if it's something that we can't do online, I will happily help you find a dog trainer that will be able to help you and be successful in your area. So I am all about working with other trainers and all about getting somebody on the ground with you to help you through this process of leash reactivity. But lay a foundation for your dog first and get the obedience that you need, get the connection that you need, get your dog comfortable and safe with you before you throw them out to the wolves, and then you start correcting and disciplining them. It is not an easy thing to fix, but it is fixable. You just have to